Hey guys, how you doing? It's Henry at Mowers and Blowers. Good afternoon. It's a rainy day today here in northern Long Island. Temperature's about 40 and it's raining. I needed new windshield wipers for my van, see? And I've always been kind of anxious and apprehensive about buying windshield wipers because from what I remember from the past, you'll buy the wiper blades. They come with wiper blades where you put the blade in. Sometimes it's too wide, sometimes it's too long, sometimes it's too narrow, and it just doesn't fit, so you gotta end up jigging it. Then there are wiper blades that come with the bracket on the top, and all you gotta do is hook it onto the J or the U loop on your wiper thing. But you just never know what you're gonna get. So I ordered these on eBay. They were $18 or $19, 20 bucks for two. They're both 20 inches for my 2002 Ford Econoline E350 Super Duty 5.4 Triton engine. I guess it'll fit. These look like they're very straightforward. Lift, J-hook, close. If it was only that easy, right? It also has these blade protectors where you pull off and the rubber is revealed. But I'm not going to install these today because it's raining. Not to mention I got a ton of snow on my windshield anyway. So I'll save this for another day. Today I'm going to be working on my Poulan chainsaw that I got for free. That's right, free from my neighbor Chris Dara over there. 2 weeks ago he came to me and he says, "Hey Henry, I've been cutting wood on my lawn from my arborist. Firewood that I got from my arborist, but then after about an hour of using it, it just stopped, you know." He came over to ask for some advice. While I have done about a dozen chainsaws in my life, I really hate working on them because they're two strokes and it's so cramped in there you can't even, you know, do anything about it, you know. So anyway, I told him to take it apart. I gave him a box of fuel lines, because usually it's fuel lines or a fuel filter or something like that, right? And for him to take it apart and check, which he did, and he figured out that was probably the fuel lines. So 2 weeks go by, he still didn't do it, you know. He came by yesterday, he dropped this off, and he says, "Listen, I bought a new chainsaw. I don't have time to mess with that stuff. You can have this chainsaw." So I'm like, thanks. Now I gotta work on a chainsaw though. I got these as a gift from one of my subscribers, Gerald Alfano. I'm going to use these today. That is, if I don't cut my hand. So this is a deep extension magnet bit holder for your 1/4 inch impact. That's for deep drilling. And I've got these drill bits, see, that are also, I would assume, strong magnets. Always cut away from you, not... Well, I didn't have to cut it anyway because there's a sleeve that just opens. Duh. Anyway, these are made by Milwaukee. I don't really have too many Milwaukee tools, but people swear by them. So this is your basic 5/16, 3/8, 7/16, half, and the hell? Oh, there's a 1/4 inch one. Yeah, you use the 1/4 inch ones a lot. 9/16 is the next bigger, next higher one. I'm gonna try to use these today. Let's open up the box. You know, these cases are actually worth some money. A lot of people want them. I've sold a few of them myself. So as you can see, this is a Poulan. You know why they call it Poulan? Because you're pulling on it and pulling on it and pulling on it and still won't start. That's why it's called a Poulan. Super clean! The 2250, 2.2 cubic inches. The You can tell that the chain is loose. There's a good fuel filter on there, what appears, and it is connected to a fuel line. Fuel looks clean, and the fuel filter looks clean, just, you know, from looking. I want to say that this is kind of a long bar. I wonder if it's a 22-inch, which is really long, but I doubt it's a 22-inch. I mean, that's pretty good. And it's always also really difficult to get this bar and chain oil thing off. You have to use like some channel locks to get it open. And it's there's stuff in there, so I won't fill it up until I get this going. That is, if I get this going. Alright, so I hate working on things that other people have been in, because you don't know what they did first, you know. My friend Chris did, you know, obviously take it off, take it apart and just check it out, you know, and but that's because I told him to do that, you know. There's a lot of stuff in here that he messed with. The problem with this is, right, is that you don't know what he did and how it went on there. So it's going to be confusing. But I'm sure I could figure it out because I have done this a bit, you know. This appears to be an extra chain and that spark plug removal tool. So what we can see here is this is the air filter cleaner or base. What is this attached to? Just seems like there's a wire here attached to it. Oh, okay, so there's a cable that runs through this channel here. And it's complicated, man. As you can see over here, look at that. This fuel line over here is Dunsky! So Dunsky that when I just moved it, it came off. And this is very hard and brittle. Look at this. Yeah. That's the problem, I think. At least I hope. I'm going to try to remove all this stuff so I can expose everything. This cable is routed in this channel here. Don't know if I should be doing this, but it just seems like the only way to get it out is to get this cable out. Unless I pull it or something. Oh, there we go. Okay. You pull it, and it comes out. Don't want to crimp that. Yep, it's okay. So look, the carburetor comes out. Looks like I have to disconnect. Aha. There we go. This is the choke lever with the grommet. I want to get this throttle cable out. Disconnect the Z-bend. Alright, there's that. Gasket looks good. And here's the carburetor. Just have to remember the orientation about how it went. You know? There you go. It's a Walbro. These are the fuel adjustment screws, and it's a good thing that these are slotted, so you can use a regular flathead screwdriver and take care of that. As you can see, this is where the fuel line broke. There's the end to it. Let's remove the old one. Damn. There we go. Alright, that went like... That go like that. If you look over here, you'll see that the fuel line that goes into the gas tank is connected and attached to the primer bulb. The other one that's missing. Okay, so it looks like it's just one line there that's busted. fuel line that goes from there to the carburetor. And then this one looks like it's okay, thank goodness, because this one's the pain in the butt to fix, you know. Let's take apart the carburetor real quick and just see what's inside. I have to replace it anyway, you know why? Because when I just tried to fit this on here, like this, just pushing, what happened? It's just crumpled in my hands, just like that. So, unfortunately, I'll have to pull this one out and stuff a new one in. Looks like that this one might be the... Oh, it's long. That's what she said. That's the main fuel line. Okay, I think. You need one of these tools, these forceps, if you will. Otherwise, you're never going to be able to reach it, you know. Yep, that was it. That's the fuel line one. Here's the fuel filter. And I'm just going to pull this line out. So I'm trying to stuff this line into that hole. While I was just messing with it, the other line broke. So I think I'm going to have to change all the fuel lines because they're all just busting. They're all just breaking like nothing. So I'm going to have to change all fuel lines. Going to have to route fuel lines into there, into here, and it's such a pain. You just got to cut like the fuel line at an angle so that you have like a sharp edge, and you stuff it in there, and you try to find the nipple and pull it out this side. Once you pull that out on this side, you attach the fuel filter back on there. It's a pain in the butt. Blindly finding the end that comes out, and now, as you can see, I'm pulling it out. That's what she said. Oh! There we go. Here's the fuel line that attaches onto the... I'm going to do it one at a time so I don't get confused. As you can see here, I've cut this hose at a line at a slant so that it's sharp, so you can stick it through the hole. And now once you've got it out, you cut it at a 90-degree angle so it's nice and flat. Then you get that fuel filter, see? You can tell this is a good fuel filter if it's clean. You can blow through it. There you go. It's just gas. Disinfects your mouth. It's good for you. I don't know if it's good for you, but as long as you don't swallow any, you're okay. And then you just slide it on there. So I was having trouble getting the return line out, so I just push it in. So I'm going to have to dump all this stuff out of here. Fuel's clean, but I don't see that piece that I threw in there. Oh, you know what else is in here? I'll show you what else is in here. If you don't have one of these pliers or forceps, you're never going to get this job done. Well, it's not coming out, it's not coming out. So, this is the other end of the return line. It's a nipple. You really don't need it, to be honest with you, but I'm going to try to install it anyway. So I'm going to get a more thicker line and try to get it into that hole over there, all the way down. And I got the other one. Here's the other end of it. Not that I have to do this, but I'm doing it anyway. Sticking a nipple onto here, and usually they want you to stick like another end to it, you know. It's hard to film this stuff because it's just such cramped areas, you know. You could barely see yourself. No less trying to let you guys see, you know. And so there's supposed to be something on the end of this. Just find another cable and stick it on there and cut it. I don't want to let go of this because I won't find it again. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Yep, drop back in there again. Alright, finally got it on here. This, just gonna cut it right around there. Just, you know, this is the return line. Any unburnt or used fuel goes back into the gas tank. And then you pull that part out again so that the nipple is flush onto the top. I hope I didn't pull that all out. Alright, looks good. Yeah, looks good. Alright. Now let's take the carburetor apart and see the condition, since we got this fuel line that goes into the primer bulb. This one goes into the carburetor. Another carburetor one goes into the other nipple on the primer bulb, I believe. And look at that. It turned from rain to flurries now. And I'm going to take apart the carburetor, take the bottom metering diaphragm area off. Just check out the condition of the diaphragm. If it's dirty or crisp, you know, hardened, not rubbery. It's a little crispy, but feels okay. Gotta be very careful not to tear them. Still pretty rubbery. Seems okay. Looks clean. See? I'm gonna get some carburetor cleaner and just blow it out anyway, you know. Looks pretty good to me. I like this blue fiber over here. That could get caught in something. I don't know why. This can's Dunsky. Got a new can of contact cleaner from my friends over at Lucas Oil. Much better. You don't stick a needle in that one because you could break something. You can't mess this up because the two holes over here go to the two holes there. I made note of where this hole was pointing. I'll put these back. GoPro, stop recording. Here's the other side now. Get a bigger slotted screwdriver. Just loosen that. Take pressure off the throttle for the idle screw. Pull out. And it looks good too. I'll blow out these holes. Carefully remove this just to look. Just to see if you see any sawdust or anything like that blocking any holes. These are like little valves over there where the plastic covers the hole. Goes in, but it can't go back out. That's what these little things are. I mean, everything looks okay to me. See, there's no sawdust anymore. Putting the final touches on it, tightening the air filter base stud nuts to tighten the carburetor onto the engine block and the manifold. Test everything, pulling the choke, and it works. Well, it doesn't really stick. You know what I mean? When you pull the choke, it's supposed to stick, but it doesn't stick. Gotta pull it hard. Trigger looks good. Fuel lines it came off once, so I had to take the whole thing apart again, put the fuel line back on. Pressing the primer hose and it feels okay. Has no gas in it, of course. Gonna find the 2 screws that adhere to that on there, but you know what? I'm not gonna do that yet. I'm gonna put some gas in here now. And we're gonna fire it up, fire it up, fire it up. Put this thing back on here. Got some 50-to-1 pre-mix 50-to-1 True Fuel here. I'm not going to fill it up all the way, just half. There's no ethanol in here. This is ethanol free, so I don't worry about it getting gummed up by ethanol erosion. Alright, now moment of truth. Let's find out if this primes. I can see the fuel going through the hoses, and I see bubbles inside the primer bulb, so it is getting fuel. Okay, I'm going to give it a pull. Oh, choke. On. Not sounding too good. Not getting anything. Got my spark tester on here. Check it out. There's spark. So it's got good spark. Just not starting. I took the spark plug out and it's dry, which means that gas is not getting into the chamber. Spray a little bit of fluid into the hole. Spark plug back on. By the way, did I ever mention that I hated two strokes? I think I did mention it. Oop. Zipped a little. You guys heard it go zip zip? I heard it go zip zip. So it's not getting fuel. Maybe I got the fuel thing wrong. It's possible. Maybe I got the fuel lines wrong. So because it's not getting fuel, means that the needle is not pulling out from the diaphragm. I'm going to take that carburetor off again. Can you believe it? It sucks, but what are you going to do? The needle is not moving. And I might have to check it out. I should have taken the needle completely out and blown into the hole where the needle goes into, where it seats. Could have been stuck. Could have been. So I took this metering diaphragm off again, and you see how flat this part is here? When you touch it, look, all the fuel comes out. See? So this thing, this part right here is pushed in too much. I'm going to pry it out a little. It was bent downwards, which I don't know how I did. So there's like a tool that you use that you can look here and make sure that it's about there. I don't have that tool, but as long as it protrudes upward. There's a science to this. I just don't have the tool to do that, but I think that might work. Or a new carburetor would do. You see, look, just touching it, fuel is coming out. Yep. So I think that might have done it. I feel like I should protrude it out more. But this is pretty rubbery. So guys, that did the trick. I put the carburetor back on again. It was indeed that lever that prevented the needle to be pulled out to let the fuel come in, you know? So lifting up that little lever allowed the metering diaphragm to push down on the lever, which pivots and pulls the needle out of the seat. Once it's out of the seat, it lets the fuel flow. Also, for a while, I wasn't able to pull the choke and have it click, stay there as choke, so that you can disengage it like that. Because the fuel line that I made in there was too long, and because it was too long, it was getting in the way of the throttle lever. So now I just basically took a screwdriver and pushed the fuel line down so that it wouldn't touch anymore. So now when you choke it and pull, it holds it there so you can choke it, and then disengages when you trigger. It was a little hinky, but I got it figured out. So I just primed it, Oh, let's choke. There you go. You get that zzz. So then you do off choke with a little throttle and pull it. There you go. And that's the idle. You can idle well. Awesome. Did take a couple hours. I will admit I've been sitting out here for 2 hours, but I hate two strokes. But when you get it going, it's very satisfying, you know? So I'm going to try to figure out how to put the rest of that crap back on here again. And then I'm gonna tighten this chain. Matter of fact, you can usually tighten the chain by just turning this screw here. Let's see if that works. So there we go. I loosened these two bolts over here, pulled the bar out, tightened the chain. Might be a little too tight actually, so I could actually loosen this right here. Put the cover back on. There's a little grommet over here. There's these two red and blue things. It stops the mixture screws from being loose, or for you to adjust. Put the air filter back in. Nice chainsaw. And it doesn't leak bar and chain lube. Every one of my chainsaws leak. So I'm going to fill up a little bit of bar and chain lube over here, and this thing is ready to sell. I think my friend Mike from Mike's Lawn Service Babylon wants a chainsaw. Maybe I'll give him a really good deal on this one. Anyway, that's my video for today. Took me a couple of hours to figure it out, honestly. Even though I have worked on a lot of Poulan chainsaws before, this one was kind of tricky. You know, it just takes some, you know. But pretty satisfying to get this going again. And thanks a lot for joining me on today's episode. We'll see you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers.
See you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers.
Hey, if you guys enjoyed the video, remember to give me a like. Also, comment below. Subscribe. Remember, it doesn't cost anything to subscribe. It's free, right? Also, hit that little bell. That way you'll get post notifications whenever there's a new video, and you won't miss out on any of them. Remember to follow my Instagram and Facebook, as well as if you'd like to donate $1 or $2, paypal.me/mowersandblowers. Really appreciate all the support. Also, to keep the videos coming every day, support the channel. Bye.